Hello, everyone, and welcome to an actual Answer the Call. So the Answer the Call where it's not just me going back and forth with a content creator talking about nothing about Star Citizen for the most part. And we're actually talking about something that's coming in Star Citizen, and it's early in the morning. I'm going on my honeymoon tomorrow. I've been married for a while now, like a year and a half almost. And we just, pandemic, and we haven't really been able to do things. And now we kind of are. So we're going on a cruise to the Bahamas, which isn't our actual honeymoon. Our honeymoon is going to Italy because my wife's grandmother lives there, and we want to go visit her in this little town near the Alps, or in the Alps, I should say. But we can't go because it's too risky for like getting stuck there at the moment because their rules are way strict still. So without getting all that out of the way, 317 is an Evocati. It's coming. It's got a lot of major core features in there, and the issue that I have, and I just am not excited for this patch. It's so weird. I'm super excited for the features. The features are paramount. They're important. They're great. I'm just not excited for the patch because the features don't really tie together. Until yesterday, we heard that maybe the goal is, the plan is, so not guaranteed, that Quanta will see its first integration into the game in the form that we expect it to be in. I think it's had its moments in the past where it will dictate the pricing of 3 commodities. I think it was fuel, repair, and one other that's escaping me now. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I cannot remember it. I'm sure chat will tell me. But that is a hydrogen, quantum fuel, and what else? Is it repair? I think repair is the other one. But that's the plan. So those 3 things, which all have their own player-facing features with fuel, refueling, right? So that's like the first economy integrated gameplay ever, in the economy that we expect in Star Citizen later in the game. While in a kind of released thing. So that's a big deal. There's the possibility of a wipe, should there be a wipe, because selling is coming, and we have these inventories full of crap that we're just going to instantly sell, and it'll be a little bit weird. So there's all of that. Selling, refueling, economy, an actual economy, a small aspect of it, but an actual economy, and possibility of a wipe. So that's all the encompassing topics of 317, and probably some more that people are interested in. And without further ado, let's bring on our first caller, which is pretty exciting, and that's Virgil. So Virgil is he's not a stranger to the podcast. So you guys are probably pretty familiar with him. The leader of the org Shadow Moses, and you may have come across them at Jumptown recently. But yeah, I'm not super excited for the patch, Verge, but do you think it'll deliver, and why for you? Because everybody's opinions are different on these things.
I think, okay, no, the answer is no.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be some surprises there that are fun to squeeze out of.
Sure.
But to
How
last
about this?
3 months, no way.
Will it?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Will it bring you back at least temporarily from Escape from Tarkov?
Yeah, for sure. Based off of the features alone, and the fixes coming in, which we'll talk about as a whole topic or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I probably won't give it a really hard crack until the events are back in, because the game by itself isn't good enough. There has to be events running to actually feel like an MMO anyways. So I'd probably wait for those, but but not enough to make it my main game. Certainly not. Nope.
Yeah.
But
It's sad.
I do think there's some things to look forward to. And what's funny is the last time I was here, we spoke about how the best things in these patches aren't in the roadmap. They're not
Yeah.
in the it's all the things that aren't included on the roadmap that actually make that patch fun, and I think that's
Yes.
going to be the case with this too. You know,
Yeah.
like
Touch on it.
rarity of items,
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that, like separating, not being able to buy just the best stuff from vendors in stations and actually having to go out in the game and loot it.
Yeah.
Which actually means that, like, you run into someone and they have, for example, the railgun. Like, that means that, oh wow, they got the rare railgun that can shoot ships. They must have got that in a bunker. The loot chance of that's really low. That's crazy. We
Yeah.
should kill that guy when he leaves the hangar. Like, yeah. So that's like what I've always wanted out of Star Citizen is a sense of rarity, which is really like tied into the economy. And the
Yeah.
problem is, for the last 3 years, the only thing that's ever rare is a gold-plated $20,000 600i, or things like that. But everything's just always been at our fingertips. Even like subscriber items on exclusive, you can go back and buy those too, right? Like there was the Vandal helmet that no one will ever wear because it's so rare that you're gonna lose it,
Well, I
and
mean,
stuff
isn't
like
that the
that. So
problem though, right? Because look at what you said. Like, hey, look, this guy's got a rare thing. Let's go kill him. Um,
yeah,
I, we've talked about this before. I agree. Rarity needs to be a thing, but you also need to have a place to be able to show it off. And that's
yeah,
why, like,
yeah, I
I'll
agree.
I'll always, and you'll fight me on this slightly, because I know you agree with me, but you're on the idea that it has to be incredibly difficult. I think it should be impossible. You just have to have that like bank marketplace area where everybody can just hang out and show off their cool shit, and
That's like the cities, right? Like you
yeah,
can't,
exactly.
no way you can gank in a city. But yeah, I get you. I definitely
Yeah.
get you.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's just how I look at that. But yeah, like for me, I'm super excited for the patch and the features, but I'm not
mhm.
really excited to play the game. Like I'm less excited to play the game than I've ever been, but I'm more excited for the future of the game than I've ever been. Because it just
Eh,
doesn't it feel like they're doing what you like 3 years ago, what you hoped like
yeah.
was the priorities. Like I'm glad it's a little late in my opinion, but I'm glad it's starting to go in that direction where we want it. We see Reputation, and we see Todd Pappy really like saying, I want these things on SE. Like he's saying, I want these features. These are really important to me. And then yeah, some other things are taking priority over that, which hey, I'm on Todd Pappy's corner for what's a priority, but I'm not the CEO of the company or whatever, so I don't get to make those decisions. But yeah, dude, it feels good now. It's just a matter of like, uh, but I can't be bothered to play it 5 hours a day, you know,
I'm in
because it's
the
just
I'm in
not there
the
yet.
exact same boat. Like, and the problem is too is like Jumptown's kind of spoiled me. It's like, oh, like now I know what it looks like when you put minimal effort into one actual gameplay loop. And by like gameplay loop, I consider it like filling a glass, right? Like it's
Yeah,
like you fill one of the features you've made with a little bit of content, and look how much excitement and fun and hours we can squeeze out of it. So like, why aren't these coming? Like, what are we, it's this is where I, pity you really, is like, what are you mining towards? Like,
nothing.
exactly. Like you're
It's so
just going
frustrating.
there, you're looking for a cool rock, and the excitement is the grind, but what's the reward?
Well, dude,
And
and they fucked it up to no end with this next patch too. Like something that we haven't mentioned at the beginning of 317, at the beginning of the show about 317 is the mining gadgets. They literally just made it so there is no rock that nobody can mine, right? Solo. They just made it that
Mhm.
way, and now it takes the I didn't need a reason to mine if I needed my friends to help me mine something.
Mhm.
If we all needed each other to get the best things, then I didn't necessarily need as much of Quantanium is really important to refuel our fleet, or I could sell that quantanium to other players, or something. Like
Yeah,
the
and that
later
would be
down the
cool.
line things that we all would love. I don't necessarily need those if we just needed each other occasionally. And without needing each other, I've really had a hard time getting in game. And like Virgil, you and I talked about this like for probably hours about Virgil's the leader of a really successful org, so who would I reach out to try to have success with mine? It was him, and I'm really struggling right now to find ways to play and to motivate people to want to play. It's been really difficult.
What if like, and if mining was extremely profitable, which it is, like it's
It
one of
is.
the few loops where you don't put much risk into it, just time. But
Yep.
like if mining was really difficult, then it would be fun, right? Like, and that's my
Yeah.
issue with it too, is like,
It used
that's
to
the dream,
be.
right? Like you find, like one of your org mates finds, the best rock with some insane stats that he has to ping the Discord to get everyone to come bring their prospectors
Yes.
over and come help him with this rock.
Yes.
Like, yeah, making the game easy for everyone doesn't solve it for anyone. Yeah, and that's the
It
problem,
literally
right? Is
ruins
like,
it.
yeah, there needs to be gameplay loops where you have to bring in your friends, like clearing a bunker, like the NPCs are cracked and you need a group to do it, like, or stuff, mechanics like that, that give you rewards for grouping up as a teams. Yeah, like we need that type of gameplay, and we should be steering away from this. Everybody should be able to solo and do everything themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
not an MMO. I'm sorry. That's
yeah.
not an MMO in the way I think about it. I think that's more of the way MMOs seem to be going um nowadays. Like Ultima
Mhm.
Online actually really went that way towards the end when I was playing it. Is there was a build called like it was a Sampire. That was the name for this build. And it was basically you were a vampire and you could cast this spell on yourself and be like have this other skill called Bushido, which would allow you to do this whirlwind effect. So a vampire could life leech, and the whirlwind could hit so many things at once that you could just gather all of the mobs and never die.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it just where there was these things called champion spawns, which were um, they'd start out with hundreds of mobs at really low level, and once you killed all those it would go to hundreds of mobs at a little higher level, and then so on and so forth until you hit the champion at the end. And the champion was really difficult, but when you killed him you would get a drop that would raise the cap of your skills. So skills used to be at 100, they would go to 120, up to 120. You would get 105s for killing the little shitty mobs, and then it was possibility of a 110, 115, or 120 at the end. And those were incredibly valuable. And when they first came in, the entire server was needed to finish these, and then there were people jumping in and trying to kill the boss at the end and kill everybody. Like it was madness. When I came back to it after Poker died, um, people were soloing the things that the entire server needed to be there for, and it would just killed it, man. Like it was just like, holy crap, this sucks. So
That's
yeah, it's just very much like Star Citizen needs to get away from that and go to, yes, you need to be able to play solo. Solo players need to have a place in every video game, but you need to provide content for the people who want to build friendships and build relationships and make friends and experience the social aspects of a video game. Because guess what, man? Gamers aren't very good at social things in real life, and this is where they find and blossom and become social butterflies, is in games like these.
That's that strange psychology with gaming, right? Which is where, people play these games that are extremely hard and it's like torturing yourself. But
Yeah,
the fact it's so challenging is why it's so enjoyable, because the high you get from winning is so good because the lows you got from losing were so bad.
yeah,
And like that's something I'm discovering. Like, I've played Tarkov for a long time, but I haven't touched it in a couple years, and that absolute feeling of dread when you like lost a good kit, and then that absolute high of getting someone else's gear that was super good, or
Yep.
having a really clean run and making so much money off of it. Like that, and it's because of the difficulty that it was so rewarding. Like, look at the games that are, big right now, like Escape from Tarkov, which is so comparable to Star Citizen right now. It's not funny. It's so
Yeah.
alike, or at least in the direction we're going. And then, like, the Elden Ring and stuff. Like, I mean, deep down, we do want to suffer. Like what the percentages are, I don't know.
You and
How are
I
you going to
do.
sell that? Yeah, exactly. But I think there's more longevity in a game that's difficult rather than a theme park like it is right now, where you can just wipe through everything, and the best content you can have is getting 50 of your friends' ships together to just look at them. Like,
The
we need
fact
the
that I
content, I
can,
think.
yeah, I mean the fact that I can take my account with just the Aurora and grind like pretty high level bounties is weird. And it's not
Hmm.
like I'm super skilled, And
Hmm.
that's like one of those things where yeah, it's kind of like there's something isn't right now, and I think it's another one of those things where we got to wait till the servers pick up a little bit, and then maybe those NPCs will really be challenging, right? Like I think that's kind of one of the problems that we have too. Is 317 won't change that, and we'll transition into the desync topic a little bit, but uh, 317 isn't going to change the fact that the servers run at 3 FPS. So
No.
a lot of the issues of lack of challenge for the solo player is because the servers are kind of crappy, right?
Yep.
I wonder what would happen. I've struggled. I really struggle on the planet's surface in an Aurora against hard bounties.
Hmm.
They kick my ass. So I've had that challenge where I was like, oh crap, I kind of need help. This feels good because it's hard. And when I
Yep.
achieved and it succeeded, it felt really good, right? But um I maybe the game is there, but we just can't see it. But I obviously doubt that. I think there's a lot more that
It,
needs to come into it for it to be that challenge that we're looking for.
and it feels like it's going in that direction. Like, and me and you, if you were to go past and through these ISCs, we were always concerned, like, oh yeah, like this game's not gonna be a game of huge risk or anything, but yet every one of these quarters, it keeps steering in this hardcore direction,
Yeah,
which
they're
to me,
injecting
I love.
more challenge, more uh, pro-
Loss.
possibilities for progression. Yeah, the ability for
Yeah.
loss and gain. If there's ability for loss, there's ability for gain. I mean, dude, the second uh, you could steal a cargo's ship's cargo, or more importantly, their components, man, forget about it.
Yep. Yeah,
Right?
it's not far, right? Like, if we are able to loot spaceships, then we're basically there. The only issue from then on out is rarity of items. Like we don't have components that are rare or really powerful or anything. The most powerful tools you can buy with credit cards, but we
Yeah.
are steering in that direction, and they are starting to fill up the glass, so to speak, when it comes to content. Because that's the problem, right? If you've
Yeah.
played Star Citizen in the last 3 years, it's just a feature that arrives, but it means nothing when it arrives. Like, there's nothing tied to it. There's no meat on the bones, like we talked about the other day on your stream.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
and this rarity of items and this selling to stores, and, like, for example, the Pico Ball being worth the most. This is this is that meat on the bones we were talking about. It's not enough, but it's starting to go in that direction. And in your Discord, I've been preaching, in the text channels for the last years, like, the most important thing, and in my opinion, the meat on the bones is always going to be the economy. Like,
Yeah.
once the economy is actually working, meaning we have income and we have outgoing, as in like losses, like,
Expenses. Yeah.
yeah, and they start to be balanced in the sense that you can, if you're doing good, you're earning more than you're losing. When we get that balance and then those items that help us and increases our chances of success, but then, make our losses heavier too. I think when we get to that point, which is what Tarkov is, right? It's almost that perfect balance between the two. I
Yeah.
think that's when this game's going to get so good. And I'm so glad to see them steering in that direction. And I think the people that are critical of it, that are like, oh, this is, 29.42 or whatever, we should be able to purchase everything from a store. I think they're going to be surprised by these gamified aspects, how fun they actually are, and how much more shelf life this game's going to have because of it. Because
Yeah.
everything shouldn't be at our fingertips, and that's the issue, right? It's like when this hurricane comes out, what is it going to? Sorry, not when the hurricane. When the Scorpius comes out, what's it going to mean? Nothing. Just means that you saw that guy just spent $200. That's all it means, Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna blow your mind or anything. And I'm hoping that the sorting of these rarity items is gonna start leaving impressions when you run into people and stuff like that. It's the meat on the bones we've been looking for, and I think I'm glad that they're starting to, yeah, like fill these glasses with actual content and start to actually fill these features with stuff that matters rather than just, the empty state that they arrive to us in. Like this whole stripping thing, like it's not
Doing
going
the
to mean any,
podcast.
like with salvaging, like it's not going to mean anything, is it? It's just going to be like there's no expectation there. The real salvaging is going to be down the line when you can actually do something with it meaningful, right? Which
Yeah.
is a lot of your argument, which is where you wish that these features came with meat on their bones and were more polished. Yeah, I agree. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
and
dude,
that's
the thing that I've been thinking about this whole time is like, dude, I agree. The only issue here is um okay, first off, obviously the ships are never going to change the fact that like somebody could have bought them with a credit card.
yep.
And some like this will probably be kind of a long story because I always tell like these long stupid stories, so I apologize. But this goes all the way back to like 2 or 3 years ago, where somebody we talked about this specific topic. Somebody in the YouTube comments wrote, "Dude, just offer different paints for the people who buy the ships in game, so you know they earned it." Right? So the 890 jump would have maybe the gold paint that a concierge 600i would be, but the person who
Mhm.
earned it in game gets that, and then like that person earned it. And then like more so now, the way I look at it is, all right, there's reputation, and you lock certain components and certain weapons and certain shields and certain everything behind these reputation gains. So when you come across somebody and you see the flash of a gun or the sound of a gun that is, and there has to be like value to them, right? They can't just be the same. So it can't be like super overpowered, but the idea of like earning your, I don't know, what's the best weapons right now? Let's just say, for the example, like the Panthers or something are locked behind like a
Yep.
little bit of reputation or quite a lot of bit of reputation. And then when you see those red lasers, you're like, oh shit,
Big
do
deal.
I want to
Yeah.
take this fight? This guy's a badass,
That guy's kitted. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's kitted, exactly. So, and that's like something that you hear in Escape from Tarkov, right? You look at them, you see the big ass backpack and all the gear, and you're
Yeah.
like, I want to take this? Yes, I want his
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like that kind of thing. And then,
Yeah.
but
Or steer clear. But yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And
exactly.
that excites me 100%.
Same. And that the problem though is like look at it from the FPS player standpoint. Dude, all the armor's the same. All the weapons like are you kill everybody in half a second. Right? So it's like
Mhm.
uh, we don't get that feel
But they
from
could
that at
start,
all.
they could tweak that, right?
They
Like,
have to.
say you can't purchase heavy armor at the store and then they buff heavy armor stats so that you see someone with the
I would
Darth
love
Vader
that.
heavy armor, you go, oh man, that guy's cracked. And you
Yep.
know what? When that guy goes into a bunker, he can take 10x more shots than someone just in a flight suit with a pistol.
Yeah.
And that
It
means that
enhanced
because
his
he's got that
experience.
heavy armor with those great stats, he's got a higher chance of clearing out those bunkers and making more money. Like that's the way
Yep.
of Tarkov does it, right? Like
Yep.
kits buy you power, power earns you more in the economy and accumulates more power. That's the ladder, like, and that's how it should be. But the problem is people are so hyped on like this realism simulation stuff that whenever you take any toys away from them or you make it feel gamified at all, they protest about it. But I imagine
I'm
we're going in that direction anyways. But that's like really important to this, right? Is like you need to be able to climb a power ladder. Like you need to be able to buy gear, buy ships, ship weapons, and
but
then
you could
be able
sell
to
that
buy it
gear
off
to those
more
players.
now that you have that stuff.
Like
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it is you could sell that gear. Like that's how I always enjoyed MMOs is like I'm the one who is willing to suffer. And because I suffer and you don't want to, I'll just sell it to you. Right? You could
Yep.
buy your money on the website, whatever, dude, but I'm like that's what I get out of the game. And that's what I used to do. I used to suffer through those champion spawns in Ultima Online and I used to do them and I would sell the scrolls that people wanted, and that's how I made all my money. And then I would buy the rare items in the game that I wanted to like show off in my house or whatever, and that's how I enjoyed the game. But that's just me, and I know somebody may not like that, but guess what? Everybody's got to have their fun too. You can have yours, I can have mine. That's like the perfect solution for both of us. Is you don't need to do this stuff. I'll do it for you.
Hmm.
Just buy it from me, But what was I gonna? I was gonna go somewhere, but I can't
While
remember.
we're on this, because I know we're going to steer into a couple other things I wanted to hit before we end it, but
Yeah,
like ships, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, should the fact that you spent $200 get you a Scorpius that's at 90% full strength? No, like, and
yeah,
I think that when you own a ship through a credit card, it should be 40%. It should be at the state of like 40% of its
bro.
potential.
Should it even
Meaning
have
like,
components?
yeah. It's like, are you just buying a chassis or are you buying a discount that you can get on it? Or, like, or are you buying just insurance so that when you lose it, you get the great insurance claim on getting it back? Like, I don't want, because at the moment, if you've purchased a Gladius, you are, 20k, 50k UEC from having the best Gladius you can get. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think that's something that's I think that we need to address too is we shouldn't be able to buy it should be pay to win. Like, okay, we need it to be pay to win to employ 700 employees to work on this thing, but it doesn't have to be to the scale that it is. And I think that the more power we can accumulate as players, not backers or spenders, the better. And that's something we have to go a route we have to go down, which is where these components actually scale and difference, and are hard to earn or hard, like behind reputation, stuff like that. Like some really great distortion weapons that are overpowered as hell can be blocked behind reputation for bounty hunting, which would
yep,
make sense, right? Like you want to disable their ship as a bounty hunter. Well, guess what? You've unlocked the highest tier of bounty hunting. Now you can get the best distortion weapons and do what you need to do with it. Like, absolutely. And I think that the further it's that meat on the bones we keep talking about. But
yeah,
I do hope that in the future, like, and to use Tarkov as an example, like, you loot an M4 and you're like, oh, great, like, that's awesome. But you're still a long way from making that M4 worth anything. Like, you have to put all kinds of attachments. You have to basically deconstruct this thing and reconstruct it. But you're about a third of the way there for just looting the weapon. And I think that's where we should be at with these ships we purchased. It's like, you know, yeah, you bought a Saber off the store, but you're a third of the way. Like, you're 30% through that Saber's potential stock.
yeah,
So after stock, customizing it should make way bigger difference, in my opinion. And
yeah. Like the
I
saber
think they are
comes
going to
with
go that way.
Panthers,
But
right? Like,
yeah, and that's like the best you can put on it anyway. So it's already
Yeah.
halfway to best in slot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and that's
the whole thing that is tough is should players just be um have like this is like the big thing, and we could tie this into 317. But here, before I do, we currently have, you and two other callers. If anybody else wants to join, it's discord.gg/saltymike. A lot of you, I'm looking over at chat, you're very opinionated. You know, share your opinion with us. Come on the show. You're more than welcome to. Anybody is welcome. It's pretty simple. There's the Answer the Call podcast category up at the top, and you could just join the green room, and we'll slot you into the queue. But yes, so the fact that okay, so this ties into 317 FPS weapons, ship weapons, all that stuff. Should players have access to military grade weapons? Period. Like, should you just be able to buy those? Military grade anything, right? Like, there's literally a tag for it in the game on ship components. Should anybody have aspects to those to just fly to Crusader and fly out of them like you're in the UEE all of a sudden? Like, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Certified?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should you have a like, I think in the Middle East, I know like there's like a lot of like American or UK or something like that security companies, right, where they maybe have contracts with other companies that make military grade components, right? Should those just be in shops at random landing zones? Like, what? No way. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
You either have the choice to go and kill players that do have access to those, whether they're NPCs or real players, or you got to earn the reputation to become a person who can access military grade stuff.
Like, and that's the thing, right? It's this whole like zero to hero thing. Like, there's not much distance between zero and hero. Like
there's very little.
Like,
yeah.
we need work to do. Give us something to grind besides something that I can cut the shortcut with $1,000. Like, and yeah, we just more meat on the bones. Take stuff away from us, like, and that's what's happening in 317, right? Like they spoke about that on the stream. Is some of the items you're accustomed to being able to purchase in the store. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to go grind it. That's good. Like, yes, like make some of these items rare, like a railgun that can two-shot a fighter. Like, which is extremely powerful. That thing is terrifying if you're flying low at Jumptown. Like, make that thing rare. And then so that when you see SaltEMike's got a railgun at Jumptown that he's shooting ships with, you're going to go, oh man, like, look at this guy's thumbnail. He's got the railgun. Let's go watch his stream, Like, rarity of items is just always going to be good. And yeah, like rarity with power, and stuff like that. That's meat on the bones. That's content. That's, less away from this pay to win aspect. And I'm just hugely supportive of it. But I think we should like probably move on from that part, because I really wanted to touch at the desync fixes. So like, what they've talked about on SEL so far is that, it was like that time dilation, synchronization with the timing of players, which, I've been hammering and complaining and tweeting and making Spectrum threads, and I see reports that have 500 upvotes. Like, it's been the bane of mine and Eddie PvP's existence for the past 2 years. And the fact that there's some potential fixes there, coming in this patch, in this build, is going to be just so good for the game. And another way to look at it too, which I'm sure you haven't thought of, is when this PTU drops with these fixes to synchronization, I guess, this is going to be the first time that the community will have actually played the flight model to its intent. There's that, right? Like, they designed and play tested this thing in the office on a LAN network, and it's been fundamentally broken with the desync the entire time everyone's had it. Like, no one in Star Citizen has ever actually played this flight model properly, because you've always had a 2-second delay. You've always been fighting at each other's shadows. Like, and you know, some people are unaware of it because you have to stream to your friend on Discord to know how bad the desync is right now in the current build. But
Yeah.
it's 2 seconds. It's literally 2 seconds difference. So you know, with synchronization fixes and you know this desync, you know, hopefully being gone, you're gonna finally be playing in like a working multiplayer game, like, and that comes in the FPS aspect too. You know, I'd assume I
Oh,
might be
I've
wrong, but
seen, yeah, and I've seen it really bad. Like a guy
mhm.
pointing the opposite direction of you shooting and you're dying and you're just like, "What?" Like I
Yeah,
didn't
and
think
that's
he
like
was a threat because he wasn't looking at me.
yeah, and hopefully, you know, like this is hopefully it really is, you know, the fix we're all looking for. But this is going to be the first time you've played it, like,
Yeah.
you know, if you were to, you know, duel a friend of yours in spaceships, you know, you're seeing two different realities. You could be seeing the back of their engines and behind them outplaying them, and they're doing the same to you. It's never made any sense. um and now, you know, if that's fixed, you're going to actually get to play what was intended for the first time, which
Yeah.
means also, you know, that finally we all get to decide, you know, do we like where the state of combat is actually now that it's working. So a lot of people don't realize that too, right? Is that 317, it's almost like there's another flight model coming too that
Yeah.
no one's really thought of. So
That's a
um,
a big thing too, because yeah, I mean, I started getting into PvP a little bit here and there, and I mean, it's hard to enjoy it when it's the way it is. You know, sometimes like a guy just teleports across the screen, or they're totally not looking in your direction, and you assume that you're okay, and then all of a sudden your shields are down, and you're just like, what is this, dude? This is so
yeah,
silly. So
yeah, it's
hopefully
been,
that.
and I couldn't bear it. Like I got 40 guys, you know, none of them could stomach it anymore. And I'm telling you, like, the fact that it's coming this build, it was great because everyone I know of, you know, like even Captain Burks, like, you know, your friends, he ain't streaming Star Citizen anymore.
No,
Like,
I
yeah,
barely
he's
have. It's
struggling.
just it's hard to be excited about the current experience. The current experience is
Mhm.
not where anybody wants the game to be. Me, the developers, nobody. If you think the current experience is good, I'm sorry, you're dumb. There's no way. No, this is not what it's supposed to be. I mean, you could maybe think it's good, but if you know this is like a day in and day out game to you, I don't know how you do it, right? But the idea of what is coming and if these things actually tie together, I think the future is brighter. I don't know if it's bright because I haven't really seen them prove that they can make things super fun yet. You know, Jumptown was the first example probably, and now we'll see
Mhm.
where they can go from there. But
And that
yeah,
was so promising, right? Like that, the most fun I've had was Jump Down. So yeah,
I
like
didn't
it,
even
and it
play the
was this
second.
Jump Down, not the old one. Like this new one was way better than the old one.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't even play much
so
the second round of it, but
no, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it either. Yeah, and,
uh,
and that's the problem I have too, right? Is like it's a combination of the game being broken, but also like what good is 50 million from Jumptown gonna get me?
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Like, why am I collecting and selling the drugs to buy what? There's no economy. Like,
yeah,
and that's the problem, right? And that's why this rarity of items is so important, and they need to keep building on that because, yeah, like the economy is non-existent. I've been waiting for this. What's Tony Z's economy called again? Quanta,
Quanta.
right? Like, I've been waiting for Quanta for a decade, I guess. And you know, what is gonna be fun about Quanta? You know, where's the gameplay for me? What about Quanta makes the game instantly more fun for me? You know, and that's the problem is this content, this rarity of items, it doesn't it's not gonna be tied to Quanta, is it? Like it's not, you know, like interwoven into Quanta. It's just content. So just give us economy content.
Yeah,
Any economy content is good. Ships, shields, ship weapons that are more powerful than the standard weapons. You know, weapons
yep.
in FPS that are more powerful than the standard FPS weapons you buy at stores. Better armor. You
Yeah,
know, this
armor
is
that
all part of
combats
the
it.
economy.
Ammo
And that's
eventually. right? Ammo is going to be a big thing too. That's a big thing in Tarkov as well. Is certain ammo types, right?
It's the most important thing. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I didn't think that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's and that's it, right? It's and that's the thing to loop back on where we started tonight. It's like the best stuff about these patches isn't in the roadmap, and it's not. It's sometimes it's not even in the patch notes.
Correct.
So we got to see what the content's actually going to be that they're not telling us.
Yep. Exactly.
So, yeah,
for sure.
Hey, I think this was good. That probably wraps us up. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, good stuff. Well, this was fun. I think you should run this early this often, and I could contribute more.
I wish.
GG's. This was fun. I always love
it's tough
talking
for,
and
yeah, it's tough for everyone else
imagining,
though too. I wish, like, one of the things that I used to ask when we ran the podcast a long time ago is like, should I do a random Wednesday night 7 p.m. Eastern time 1-2? Because then it's you can get more Americans here. We very rarely have Americans on the show because
that's
of the time zone.
like you used to do. Like the last one I did for you, maybe it was the first one I did for you, was 1 a.m.
Yeah.
This one was 9:30 p.m. So that's the difference. Like,
yeah,
and that's, thanks to daylight savings and stuff. But yeah,
and me
I'll
just
say
needing to start early.
One more thing before we close it, because I was reading the comments, like, and I'm sure this is going to be all over the YouTube comments. Everyone's going, Virgil wants Tarkov. This isn't Tarkov. Like, okay, the reason people have a poor taste towards Tarkov is because it's like such a scary game and such a hardcore game. Those aren't the aspects like we're talking about when we say it's a good thing to go in the Tarkov direction. Like, the healing system in Tarkov is the most complex out of any FPS. Yep. That's what we want as backers for Star Citizen, right? Like,
not these colored med pens is crap in comparison.
But like complex healing mechanics, right? Like, yep. Treating injuries different ways, depending on the symptoms and stuff. Like, weapons and the complexity of attachments. An economy where you're, so to speak, gambling, and you can increase your odds through power and better gear. Like, it's all the more this game goes towards Tarkov, it's a lot better for it. Like, there's so much for Star Citizen to learn from that. And I know I've been playing it for 3 months and I'm harping on it, but it's done so much of it right. And whether you like it or not, we're going in. Everything they've been doing is going in that direction, and it's a good thing. You should give it a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty?
Yeah, man.
Alright, well, GG's. This was good. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. All right, bye, Virgil.
Right. Talk to you later.
All right, I just saw a comment too, just this second, right as I was letting him go, that there's more to Star Citizen than Tarkov, because there's like mining and cargo hauling and all those things. And it's like, yeah, I think that's why Star Citizen has a lot more potential, and maybe the lack of requirement for things like wipes that Tarkov might need, because it's not entirely item based the way Tarkov is. It could actually be better in many ways, because you have the FPS enjoyers, the ship combat enjoyers, and the economy enjoyers, and there's all sorts of other aspects of the game that you can enjoy at the same time. But the general, if you're doing PvP content or PvE content, you would want risk and reward. When you are running cargo, the idea of there being a bit of risk and the ability to engage in things like that are what I think Virgil's going for there, and at least what I like, the integrating Tarkov aspects into the game of Star Citizen, right? So that's how I look at it. But let's bring in our next caller, the Doc. Doc, how you doing? Hopefully you're there. We had a long call at the beginning. I apologize.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. So,
hello. Audio, is it good?
Audio's as good as it can be, given my audio issues that I'm still having until they fix this bug. So I guess we'll give a little preface and remind everybody what we're talking about here. Will 317 deliver for you? There's a number of aspects that are coming into the game. So share what you're excited about, what you're not excited about, and yeah, like the floor is yours, Doc. Go ahead, man.
I want to start with ISC because I actually liked that. It's actually the first time that I've actually gone, whoa, that was actually like awesome to watch.
What aspects in particular?
Just like overall, I think what they talked about, because they didn't show off like any like areas and stuff like that. It just showed off actual stuff that's like working in the game. Well, not quite in the game, but like soon to be in the game.
So
it's
the UI menus and stuff.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Okay, but is it?
Like,
I mean,
refueling ships as well.
Yeah, that could be big, and when it ties to Quanta, it might be really interesting. I don't know how interesting. We'll have to see. But this is a good perspective coming from our first caller. Doesn't play the game right now because he's bored of it. And the first comment I looked at when I popped on my stream today was you going, "Oh, my refinery jobs are done." So like you're clearly still playing the game, and the aspect of the game that I'm so disappointed in right now. But yeah, so I think could get different perspectives here. And do you see yourself doing anything differently in 317 than what you do when you play now?
I think so. I mean, I don't hoard items as such, but there's some stuff that I do hold, like ammo and items and stuff that I actually take.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will like hold me for too long.
Yeah.
Because there isn't like anything actually like big to play.
Yeah, there's no like carrot on the stick, right, for the game currently. I guess the carrot on the stick still is if there's a certain ship you want to earn in game, but that's about it, right? There's really no. I mean, there is. It is if you make it that way. Like I think for me the carrot on the stick, and I still want to jump back into it. I think when I get back from my honeymoon is just earning the top reputation for bounty hunting or something, right? Like there are carrots that you can have, but they're not tied to the game's economy. They're not tied to any prestige in any way, really, because it's not like being a top bounty hunter gives you anything.
Yeah.
A title, it doesn't give you a. Every MMO does those things.
Yeah, there's no flair. Or flair that tags you almost.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I'm excited for is the active data stuff that sort of stays in between your sessions.
Oh,
it's a small thing, but yeah.
Yeah. The need to eat and drink during your play session actually is a thing.
Yeah. It's like hunger, thirst, health, any injuries you might have. So like you have to have like food and like on yourself all the time almost.
Yeah, it definitely ups the value of those things. Now, I wonder if they're going to do something similar where certain foods and certain types are going to hold you for longer, and maybe only those are found.
I already have those things in, but they don't work at the moment.
Yeah, like the fruits and stuff that from the length of time that it holds you. Yeah, that stuff exists. And I guess it doesn't work. I didn't know it didn't work. But the idea of like going to the what is it called? The food court. Maybe that's not the highest quality food. Maybe the highest quality food would be somewhere else or something. I don't know. And then I hope I haven't tested it in 317 because I haven't played it yet. But I hope that the food and the drink and the things that you find in containers actually does change your status, because in 315 and 316, if you ate the fruit from those containers that were filled with fruit that was super annoying, you didn't even benefit from them. Like, the fruit didn't give you any food or drink. Like, it was not additive at all. It just didn't do anything. So I hope that gets fixed as well, because that would be really cool. Because if you do come across a food container and you're kind of hungry or kind of thirsty, it would be like, oh, thank goodness, right? There's that Daisy and Tarkov aspects from the last caller, Virgil, right? Is like, that is a good feeling. If you're thirsty and you're like, man, I have to leave, and then you open a container and it's got a drink in it and you can keep looting, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, I would hope so as well. Had they fixed that and have it in the game working.
Now, Doc is a member of my org and probably the most active one right now. What do you think about these mining gadgets, dude?
I don't know, because it's just like, it makes it easier. It should be harder, I think.
Yeah. I just
don't get way harder. Yeah.
I don't get this direction, dude. I just don't get it. I know some people struggle because they're using mouse and keyboard, most likely.
Yeah.
That's probably their issue here. But I'm okay with you making it easier for the overall player, which may actually be necessary. But give some challenge to your more power gamer then, right? At the same time. Challenge me. I'm okay with you making it easier for the average person, but challenge the person who really does enjoy mining and has been doing it for a while. What's so hard about doing that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want as well. Like,
Give me a
10k
challenge.
mass rocks, and like the huge rocks that need like everyone to help you.
Yeah, and if you mess it up, you die. Like, if you want to add some risk and reward to that, if you mess it up, you die. You know, something like that. It's gonna explode, and it's gonna explode bad. Yeah, like, just inject some challenge. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sorry if the solo player comes across that rock and gets mad. Yeah, like, you know, the same goes for the other side here with me. I think it's a little bit too easy. And I'm okay with it being easy, but you got to give me a challenge too. So, yeah. But let me think what else that comes in. Refueling. You think that's going to have what do you think it's going to have an impact now?
No, I don't think so.
I wonder.
Stanton, at least, no.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer.
It depends on how they update these ships as well.
Yeah, they said they're going to do a pass, right? Or they're doing a pass. I think they mentioned that on SCL, so
on like all the ships and taking the scoops off the ships that aren't supposed to have them.
Yeah.
So it's all up in the air, I think, anyway.
Yeah. It's a lot of things that we just don't know, and we may not even know until live what our experience may be like, because they're probably going to be tweaking it a lot in the PTU phases, but I don't know. Trying to think of what else.
An inventory wipe. I sort of thought about that a bit. Yeah, I thought about that a bit.
Just an inventory, not...
Yeah, just
I don't think you should wipe ships.
That. Yeah.
Why?
Because if you have, like, everything in your inventory in one area, you can just sell all of that stuff.
And that's what'll happen, right? When the new patch comes out, your inventory gets... Boom! It all goes to one place, and then... Yeah. It's almost like... Why sell anymore at that point? You've already sold everything.
Yeah. And you just have everything that you'll ever want or need.
Yeah. What about reputation? Should that be wiped?
I wouldn't say so, because they haven't put in the stuff that I would like yet.
They haven't added any new reputation factors, really, right? So
No. And stuff still isn't locked behind rep yet.
yeah,
Which I want. I think that would be awesome to like have in game.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the inventory get wide, just your like FPS inventory, but I don't know if they can like checkbox things like that. I would hope they could. I would think they could, but
I can.
yeah,
I can. With the persistence stuff, they split it up into 3 areas almost,
okay,
so they can touch certain stuff and not touch anything else.
yeah. Because I don't think many
So-
people care about their current inventory. Maybe
No, I
because
don't.
like a lot of people maybe grinded the Hurston armor and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, why not do it again?
Yeah.
It's fun.
All these these Pico balls that like everyone is on about. I've heard so much about these things. I haven't seen one, but hopefully.
Yeah, I don't care about stuff like that
Yeah,
as
it's
much.
just- It's
I
like
want
a joke at this point.
I want my stuff to be rare because it's hard to get and it's useful. I don't know what a
Yeah.
Pico ball is gonna do for anybody, but it's like, you know, it's just more of the silly memes that Star Citizen has done that just, I don't know. I think they're kind of cringe sometimes, but the treasure hunting aspect of it, I think is good. So I can't be
Yeah.
that. I think I'm just a dick, and that's why I don't like them. Because
Or like if there's like a new helmet or something in like Hurston, and you're like, all right, it's in this area. Let's go see. And if you find it, then you keep it.
yeah,
That's what like, I want to see more of.
yeah, okay. Is there anything else at 317 that you would want to talk about, Doc? I don't know. I think we touched on most things.
Let me check the roadmap. Not that it helps anyone, but
True. I don't think we touched refueling. We don't think it's going to do anything. Oh, here's one thing. On SCL, he mentioned very few ships that are going to be added to 317 for sale, and all of the good ones were not mentioned.
yeah, like
What was that about? What is that
I was
shit?
like, yeah,
That pissed me off. I hope he just didn't
yeah.
remember all of the ships that are missing.
like the Ares, the 400i, the A2, the Cyclone MT, the Redeemer.
Yeah. Redeemer's a big one.
Forgetting?
I don't think, I mean, maybe, but that's a big list of really, really important ships that are just potentially not being added for sale in game. That's not good. Because I thought it was a really good little cadence that they had. It was like, here, you could buy it, and then everybody can earn it in game. It's not going to be easy to earn, but everybody can do it. And I wonder if they went, oh, okay, we ran all these events, everybody has millions of credits, now they're not going to buy the spaceships from us. And it's just like, yo, come on. Like, that's the one thing. Like, is this game your funding drive for Star Citizen, or is this game Star Citizen? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, that pissed me off. So hopefully we're wrong. And
hopefully at least they put the ships in the game that are supposed to be in the game for sale. Like
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Doc. I guess we'll leave it there. We gotta talk. We gotta figure out a way to get in game when I get back and start grinding again.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the org.
There's just nothing to do. It's like there's just no like
It's a chill thing, but it's not like it almost feels like it's not worth the effort to jump in with like the hurting the cats part of it. You know, if it was worth it, it'd be but I'll do it. But we just I gotta get on my horse and do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Doc. Be good, buddy.
Yep, I'll see you around.
See you around. Bye-bye. All right, and our next caller is Jab Loca. Jab, what's up, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So, 317. Excited? Not excited?
I'm a little excited. I'm excited about refueling. Like, it's
Okay.
the first new mechanic with a ship in years. The last
Yeah.
one was mine, and that's like, how many years ago? 3 years ago? Or something?
It was a long time ago. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
so I'm quite excited about that. So finally a ship has functionality.
Yeah.
And I hope they kind of like remodeled a little bit from the inside because it's terrible to walk in.
Oh, they
But,
said they want to look at it at some point, so I hope so
yeah.
too.
But yeah, I'm excited about it because I really want to try like a new loop. It's not really a loop, but I want to try something new and see if Quanta is tied to the Starfarer a little bit. Like if you can buy fuel cheap at a station that has like a lot of containium in it and then like fly around. Or if it's more expensive for small ships or ships to refuel at the station compared to refueling at the Starfarer, for example, like to give a reason to refuel with a Starfarer.
Yeah, like the whole thing that really caught me off guard was, I mean, it makes sense that this is the way they would have to do it for now, though, is that, okay, so guys, you got to go with your Starfarer and buy the fuel at the stations that everybody would just refuel at anyway.
Yeah,
And I was just
exactly.
like, wait, what? So, yeah, like, shouldn't this just wait for ship refining? But the now that Quanta's tied to it, possibly, it would be really interesting if the L1 stations, especially Crusader L1, that has that bonus to Quantanium that a lot of people would probably sell at. I wonder if the cost there would be significantly lower, where then you could sell to players for cheaper than what they would probably refuel at around the planets, right? Cheaper than at Port Olisar or something. So then you can, just hang out there and be like, hey, refuel with me.
Exactly. And like the selling between players, like an actual item in the game, that's also really big. Because it's the first step to like shops, for example, for the banning merchant. Like if you can just trade, like say medical supplies in the future, like they can reuse that UI hopefully. So that's also important.
Yeah, even if not reusing the UI, reusing the code for it, right? Just how it works
Exactly.
in general would be. I mean, that was probably one of the more exciting ISCs I've seen in the last year, was seeing the UI and the features that it had. It was just like, wow, there's so many other aspects of the game that can utilize this. It would be fantastic.
Yeah,
like you
and
said,
hopefully-
specifically trading of anything.
Yeah, trading of anything, and hopefully it ties in with the cargo refactor. Maybe hopefully they used a
That'd be
little bit of
nice.
that code. Yeah,
That would
but
be nice.
I also hope they like rebalance the fuel stuff in ships. Like
Yeah.
for me, for a few ships, it feels like you can fly forever. Like
Okay.
don't have to really worry about refueling in a game session. Like yeah, mainly quantum fuel. Like hydrogen fuel, it's okay. But quantum fuel, I don't know, it feels a little bit too much. But I think it's prepared for Pyro because Pyro is a bigger system.
Yeah. And that's the kind of bummer about it, I think, is that you're getting it, but it's in preparation for something else. So you're not going to experience it the way they intend it yet. And it's just like, come on, man. How do we give value to it in any system? Because refueling should be important anywhere. So how do you create value for it? Like, there still should be value for it in Stanton, I feel like. But what and how would it work? I don't know.
I remember one of your playthroughs.
The only way is refining, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, refining. So you don't have to invest money in it.
Exactly.
That's the big problem with trading, for example. You have to invest money in it, and it's just too much big of a risk because imagine you invest like 1,000,000 UEC in fuel. I don't know how much fuel it is, but whatever. 1,000,000 UEC in fuel. You hit a rock and you explode and gone that money, or server crash, gone that money, for example. It's a lot less worse because of the fail-safe thing they have now. But yeah, there shouldn't be an investment in money. Like, no one does a quest or anything. Like, you have to pay gold for it to get gold back. That's not the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could invest the money. It should be an option, but it is weird. It is coming in very incomplete in that sense, right? It's just
And
like without refining, I just don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, invested money in a different way, like a better refiner or refueler, for example, or better hose or something. Something with a purpose. And I'm also excited about the sending of loot, like the most basic loop in any game.
Yes.
Finally, after 10 years, but whatever. But yeah, I'm also excited for that, and I'm really glad they finally like removed a few items from the shots, but I'm cautious about it because nothing has value. Like, okay, they stopped sending the green helmet, heavy helmet, or whatever. Cool, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just wear a black one.
Yeah, if they stop selling certain weapons, and if they do eventually bring that to ship components, then we're talking, right? Then we're talking the value of things become their actual use in game, like a certain quantum drive. Like, imagine if they took the XL1 away and you had to find that or earn that in some way. Like,
yeah, earn rep with Arcorp. Arcorp makes quantum drives. So yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be where it gets gamified to the point where it's like actually kind of cool, I think. But yeah, I mean, for now it's just like, all right, the bunker missions that I did before, I'm just going to be more of a loot goblin than I was before. Because now they add a little bit more value at the end where you could sell. Because now you're filling your backpack, going back down, filling your backpack, filling your ship, going back down, filling your backpack, and then, all right, man, my ship is full, let's go sell.
Yeah. This patch really feels like a stepping stone to 3.18. Like, I feel like there are a lot of functionality put in for 3.18. Like, the desync stuff probably also in because for cargo transfers and stuff, you don't ram your like cargo box inside the ship. That's like a completely different place.
Yeah.
The desync issues.
I hope those really get resolved. The idea that they're going to be jittering, I should have mentioned this with Virgil too. Like, that's what Todd Pappy said on SCL. The whole fix, I think they put this 2-second delay in because back in the day, ships used to jitter like crazy. Yeah. And then this was their solution to that problem, which caused way more problems. And so now we'll be like, is the jittering going to be so bad that it's like back to what it was 2-3 years ago or what? I have no idea. But yeah.
Indeed. And it's just a bandage fix, they said. So I don't think even that this fix is going to be in when server meshing gets in. But then we got a whole different problem, like when OCS just came in, that completely broke the game. We got frames, but also broke the game. But yeah.
Yeah, I think if you don't have that expectation for server meshing, then you're going to have a bad time.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be fun with refueling if Cena Threat is also going to come back for this patch, then it's really going to tie in with refueling because you have to keep going back to Mike L1 or Microtech to refuel. And now you can just have Starfarers go back and forward.
Yeah, the Starfarer could be the one that's gathering the items, but then it can also refuel you.
Exactly. And it also has great defenses, like the turret up top, the Gemini at least.
Yeah.
The stock Starfarer is also good, but a little bit less. Yeah. But yeah, not rearmed though, but that's not sure why they haven't put that in. Like, you can.
I'm sure there's a reason, Probably. But they seem to have a good reason for everything. Like it is difficult to argue like their reasons for not doing things sometimes. Certain priorities and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting 3 months, and it's gonna be a very interesting 6 months leading up to 318. I think it just comes down to I think for me, and I'm not sure how much you mentioned it, but it's the Quanta side. How big of an impact will that have is, I think, going to be the most telling thing for the short-term future of Star Citizen for me, and how exciting and interesting the game could be. Because once that starts getting integrated in and really doing things, that's when reputation can be really pushed. That's when things start, the actions in game start to affect your experience and matter so much more, right? Is those two things, is the way you affect the economy and the way you affect your reputation is going to drive what your general experience will be like, and how my experience may differ from yours, which is good.
Yeah, and we forgot about the big thing this patch cycle.
What's that?
Invictus.
Oh, God. Why is that a big thing? Come on. I hope that was a joke.
It's fun. No, it's fun. Every MMO has like their yearly or monthly events.
Yeah,
so
except
it's
the
fun.
monthly events aren't funding drives, dude. Like, yes, I get that.
It's a good excuse just to fuck around and rent some ships.
Okay.
Like, I know I like it. It's just fun, and turn
That's
Idris
fair.
again, Javelin, and try to attack your Bengal and stuff. It's a fun in-game little thing. I don't take it seriously. Like, every event in this game is a big funding thing because they sell skins and etc.
Yeah. Everything is a funding drive for these guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hopeful for this patch, and I think it will give a good indication how 318 will look like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, anything else you want to touch on?
Trying
to think if we missed
just make
anything.
bigger rocks to mine.
Yes.
Make them harder. Like, you don't need server tech or anything. Just make a big rock and make it completely unstable. Give a reason like 2 or 3 ships to make it stable, etc.
Give me a challenge.
No need to reinvent the wheel.
Give me a challenge. Like, if you're gonna make it easier for newer players, give a challenge for the veterans. That's it.
Give them all a reason to exist.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah, I don't know, Jab. Is there anything else again before we let you go? I guess.
Anyone gonna fish at the river? Oh wait, no fish, but a fish tank. That's it.
The river. Yeah, are you gonna visit the river?
Yeah, probably once.
Dude, I think there's gonna be racing leagues, and I could see myself participating in them at the river.
Depends how profitable the stuff is what you loot at the riverbed. That would be pretty cool if you can get some rare stuff there, but not gonna get my hopes up.
I think you're getting your hopes up there. I mean, they did say they were gonna put the Heart of the Woods, it looks like, was there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Which is, something you could sell, and if I remember, if it still works, if you eat it, it heals you. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not broken like the other items, but
it may be, but yeah.
You never know.
Yes. Well, all right, Jab. I guess we'll let you go here then, because you started talking about the river.
Have a good cruise.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it, and yeah, I'll catch you next week then, I guess.
Catch you next week. Later.
Later next week. Bye-bye. All right, and our final caller for the day, I think, Maxim, you're a first-time caller, right?
Yes.
Welcome. Hello.
Nice to be here. I already muted your stream.
Appreciate it.
Stop it. Yeah.
So 317. Anything you're excited about, or have you been playing 316 a lot? Is it or not? And if not, is it bringing you back? What are your thoughts about 317?
Star Citizen is right now a game I don't play constantly, but some evenings with friends. So when we have a group, we play together. But I don't see it as a solo game right now.
What do you do when you play with your friends?
Events, mining, PvP. Like, we try out actually all the aspects we can find.
Okay.
And try to train them a bit. 17, I don't see like I'm so hyped like others. Because the features are they are not game changing right now. They will be game changing, but they are not right now.
Yeah, it's because they're disconnected. They come in and they matter, but they're just not connected enough for it to be like, wow, you know? Because it could have really been a super exciting feature like refueling or even mining gadgets, right? But they just don't connect.
I think so. The first topic I would also like to speak is refueling.
Go for it.
I don't think refueling is a big part in Stanton because you got stations all over the place. I mean, if you're someone in commercial or something in this business and you run out of fuel somewhere in Stanton, I mean, just plan your trip a bit better.
Well, here's the thing, too, is that every landing pad you can refuel on. So if you go to a location, an outpost on a moon that has no fuel tank, like you look around, I don't see any fuel tanks around. I don't see any anything that can refuel. It's all magic. I think that's sort of where you get where refueling could matter a bit more in Stanton is if the only place you can refuel is in more logical locations and not every single landing pad, right?
Yeah, but we already got all the space stations. I mean, they already said they want to rework how far a ship can go with its fuel, with its quantum fuel.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting, especially with fighter meta, so light fighters, how far they can go. And where I see refueling could be extremely interesting is kind of PvP Jumptown. But when I remember Jumptown the last 2 times, it was at Yella, right next to Grimhex.
Yeah.
So basically, you would go on, so you fight there, and you tell your friends, okay, I'll be back in 3 minutes. You go to Grimhex, rearm, refuel, everything's fine. You go back to Jumptown. That's not really a built-up supply line. But when I think about the new system, where things are more apart from each other, and you got a Jumptown somewhere nowhere, and you got your light fighters there, and they can just fly like 1 to 2 hours, so patrol there, and you got Starfarer there to refuel them. You can have a huge advantage compared to others who need to fly back, refuel, and so on. So there comes for me really the fuel gameplay to mind. And for quantum fuel, I guess there are huge distances you need to travel to in quantum, and
I mean, especially when you travel across multiple systems, right? The distance now doubles, triples.
Yeah, exactly. I think there are gonna be some station where you can want refuel or something, but I think it's like right now when the US tries to get the plane from Italy into another war zone, they refuel it like 3 times on the way, and we right now don't really have carriers or something like that. So you maybe will need to build up some supply line like that if you want to get big assets in a specific area.
Let me jump in now because actually the first caller just asked a question I think is super relevant to this. I think one of the factors that you're not tying into your discussion is the cost of quantum fuel now is non-existent, right? You could fill, like, what is the most expensive you've ever spent on quantum fuel? For me, it's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 credits with like a big ship. What if part of the balance is like, yeah, it's an actual gold sink, right? What if refueling a C2 with hydrogen and quantum fuel is like legitimately a cost of running the ship for the first time ever. Right now, it is so nominal, it's not a cost. And that's one way to tie it into any situation. And then that's where refueling could really matter.
If money would right now matter, yes.
That's true. Yeah.
I think, first of all, money need to be a rare resource.
I mean,
And
this is one
then-
of the ways, though, to make money matter is to... One of the reasons why money doesn't matter is because there aren't enough expenses. And this should be
Yes.
one of those expenses, right? This is one of the sinks that are needed.
Yeah, you kind of get it too easily, and if you fail, you don't lose it.
Yeah.
Let's don't talk about trading there.
Yeah.
But you lose it there for other reasons. Yeah, I think refueling is not my money part, so I don't think about making money with it. When I buy a Starfarer, then mainly to resupply refuel ships in specific areas, like I said. But
I think about making money with it. I remember this is a full-on Imagine Maxim, but the first ship that I ever, like, this was my first moment of the, like, ship buying addiction, or the, like, FOMO, I have to have it, that Star Citizen gave me, was the Starfarer. And the way they sold the Starfarer was like, hey, it has a fuel scoop at the front, and so you could go to a gas giant and scoop all the hydrogen fuel and then refine it into stuff that you can use and then sell it to other players. I was like, oh my god, I'm in. Give. And that was the only ship that I ever considered going to the gray market to buy, because they actually had limited ship sales at the time and never, like, they sold the Starfarer once at that point and never sold it again. And it had been a very long time before they started changing their ways and selling it all the time and selling all these other limited ships all the time. I looked at it that way. And we could both look at refueling in two different ways. And both could be right, I feel like.
I mean, with these features, you can take it to exploration.
Yeah.
Basically, like here from Stargate, what was the third show?
Oh,
The
I
Destiny,
don't know.
yeah. Where they need to refuel in the sun and something. Yeah, I mean, but we need much more star systems for that, I think, because I don't see this situation in Stanton. In Pyro, yes, but in Stanton, it's like maybe when space station run out of fuel because they are blockaded or something. So basically,
Good
when
point.
you have a situation, and this is how they explained Quantum, like
Yeah.
maybe one org blockades a station, very important one, like in the middle of Stanton, and you are with a staffer right on the edge of that, and say, okay, you are now the new refuel post.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, yeah, that could also work in Stanton, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I like that. I like this conversation we're having about it, because it could be really interesting. And those are and what I love about that is those are aspects of the game that are actually currently functioning, right? There is blockades in the game, with Ninetales and stuff like that. And then hopefully any injection of quantum could not only change the pricing of fuel, but the availability of it. Because
Yes.
any like, that's like the one cool thing about this was the thing that I liked about the quantum system. I think over time I've come to almost despise it in a way, because I think a player run economy is just more fun. But it is it is a very easy and cool way for the CIG devs to tell a story. Like, there's a fuel shortage in Stanton. Like, they could literally just do that when 317 drops. By the way, guys, there's a fuel shortage in Stanton. And Well, I guess they can't. Damn, dude, it's so frustrating because the game is so incomplete. It would be so cool if they just said, "Hey, there's a fuel shortage," but the actual Starfarer was able to refine its own fuel, but it can't. So
I mean, it could
take
be
it all
with
back.
quantum player driven. So, oh god, this is so future music.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
far in the future.
Yeah.
But if you think about Stanton, like with all people on the server, don't think about the place. So, the space, I mean.
Yeah.
And you maybe 1 or 2 orcs get together, really big one, and they blockade like Lyria and the other planets where Quantum is, Quantanium.
Yep.
So basically, yes, there is some fuel, but it gets lower and lower because there is no more Quantanium incoming. And in the end, there's no more Quantanium, and the players need to figure a way out to stop this blockade, basically. But that's so much future music. Yeah.
Yeah, and like somebody just mentioned, like how does a place like Grimhex have an endless supply of fuel and things like that? They just mentioned that in the chat, and it's like, yeah, that's a really good point. I just hope that, because they really only mention quantum as dictating the pricing, but the availability and the amount is probably, and obviously that dictates the price, of course. But if you look at cargo haulers, right? I saw that too, broken, by the way. If you look at cargo hauling, right, the availability of laranite in the more valuable things to haul is kind of a pain to get. So it's when you do fill your ship up with it, it feels exciting, it feels worth it, and stuff like that. So yeah, really interesting kind of direction we went in, and I'm glad we did, because it's pretty cool. It differs a little bit from what everybody else was saying, which is nice.
I think if you think too far in that way, like when we really implement a real economy, I mean, first of all, Grimhex would be embargoed, so basically it would be forbidden to sell them fuel, basically, from everyone. So you need to smuggle it there, so it would be more expensive. And if you get in all these things, I mean, yeah, I mean, there needs to be some magic
Yeah,
that
of
some things
course.
happen working, because I mean, in the background, because if it would be too realistic,
It wouldn't be fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another part I would like to talk about is I heard the first discussion to make make Star Citizen to Tarkov.
Okay.
And I don't say I totally disagree with him.
Before you keep going, I don't think Virgil is asking Star Citizen to be Tarkov.
No.
Right? And I'm gonna take, I'm gonna put words in his mouth a little bit here, and it may not be fair. Nobody's asking Star Citizen to be Tarkov, but there are definitely aspects of Tarkov that are really, really successful. Every item in Tarkov matters. Every single item has a purpose and a use. And the risk versus reward aspects of Tarkov are very strong. And I think that's all they mean.
The point I have is with progression and better items.
Yes.
I think it's really unfun. Like, you basically buy a battlefield title, you're level 1, you play against a level 100. He got like his fully equipped AK something, nice weapon, and you got the basic with no loadout.
Yeah.
You basically have no chance. And I don't see this in Star Citizen. So I think you shouldn't just get with higher level better items. I think where progression should come from is mostly skill. Basically, when I think about Star Citizen, most times things don't work is because of the execution. Because maybe you have a big fight and you organized it, like you said, okay, you deploy a ballista there, this ship is loading up in Jumptown and the others do the patrol, and someone doesn't do his job completely right, and the other team exploits that and wins the engagement, kind of, and wins the fight. This is more where I see stars. It is not like,
But what are
hey,
you fighting over? What are you fighting
yeah,
for?
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, and that other thing
was-
contradicts your most progression should be through skill.
Yeah, wait. I think there can
go
be
ahead.
items in the game, but they shouldn't be like, hey, my repeater does 30% more damage than yours.
Yes,
At least have it a trade-off. So like,
yeah,
your
I was
burst is
gonna
slow or
jump
something.
in. Yeah, and I'm sorry for jumping in on you a little bit. It's what I should have done while we were talking with Virgil. Is the highest end items can't be like, because he even said the word overpowered. I feel like that should not be a thing. It should be an advantage in a fight. You earned that advantage, but it can't be so significant that you can't participate in a fight without it. The skill still needs to win out. So if I bought 10 million alpha UEC or just UEC on the website, and I went to a bunch of grinders and were like, "Yo, give me the highest end everything, and I'll give you all my money," and they go, "Okay," and you get it, you still should struggle against a competent player that maybe doesn't have the highest end gear. And I think we're in agreement there, but I'm not sure. And I'll no longer interrupt and let you go. I'm sorry.
I think there are other ways. I mean, other items that could be interesting. Like imagine this. Let's start with a derelict ship.
Okay.
You find a derelict ship, and there is some kind of item, like a statue, so that you can hold in your hand. You know, that you think, what the hell is this? It seems worthless. But you go to Grimhex and you find out that this thing is actually from the Ninetales, and they really want it back. So basically, need to give it back to them. So there could be a lot of gameplay around it. You give it back to them, and they are like, I don't know, a bit more friendly to you. So you can just, by finding an item, you can get a bit reputation. So like they like you more. And there could be also something like an item that you give to some special organization, and they no longer fight you, or even they protect you. Imagine you secure Jumptown and you could call in a little bit of Ninetales fleet that hovers over it. It wouldn't be too broken, and others could see, okay, he activated this item, and they need to adapt. Maybe they had the same item with a UEE fleet, and it would be also game changing, but it wouldn't be just straight up be a weapon that deals more damage. So because it would be more interesting if the item you get, it shouldn't be like you can use it infinitely. You should have a little limited number of uses, and you get something from it. But
I still
it shouldn't
think
be like.
I still think some items should just be better, because then you have players that are willing to grind their reputation, and they need, other players need, like, the one aspect of Star Citizen that doesn't exist right now is me needing you and you needing me, and we participate in different aspects of the game, right? And it would be nice to I don't know, like, not participate in PvP but be useful to PvP players.
Have you ever played Planet 2?
No.
Okay. Basically, all weapons are kind of worth the same there.
Okay.
But they fill in different niches. Like you can do different things with them.
Yeah, but in that game, don't you just select like a class, and that's what
yes,
you are?
yes, of course.
But,
yes,
but we can't do that.
No, what I mean is like with the reputation, like you can get a really interesting sniper rifle,
Okay.
but it has like just one bullet in the magazine. You can shoot extremely long ranges with a really nice zoom,
Okay.
but there is like this trade-off. With the first sniper rifle, you can just shoot some 100 meters, but
Uh-huh.
you have like 10, 20 shots, and it's easy to hit.
Okay.
But with the last one, you have just one shot, and you need to make it count. Right?
Gotcha.
So basically, with higher progressions, you get more interesting abilities,
Mm-hmm.
but they are not kind of
Overpowered.
straight up bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
genau, yes.
Yeah.
So I think it would be more interesting, but because when a new player comes in, he shouldn't be like overwhelmed with people that played hundreds of hours, and he does basically. I think in a good video game, if a player does everything right, he should be rewarded. And there shouldn't be the situation where a new player does everything right and he loses just because he didn't play it 100 hours. This would be awful experience for him.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's a very good point. But the part that you're 100% right, and I'm not disagreeing with you when I say anything after this. I still want to like grind and feel rewarded for the grind, you know?
Me too.
Yeah.
But it's like
you feel like the grind's not worth it unless you gain an advantage. In a way.
Kind of.
Right? So it's like how do you balance exactly what you said, because you don't want that new player to have a crappy experience, but you also want the long-term player to be excited still every time they play the game. It's a really difficult balance, and not many games achieve it, right?
I mean, in EVE, they kind of fight over territory, I think.
Yeah.
I never played EVE, but I've seen the news sometimes that there is some rivalry about a system or something, and they use all their resources to get this system.
Why would we fight over territory in Star Citizen?
Resources, basically.
What do we use the resources for, right?
Yeah,
like
that's the thing.
There's so many unknowns.
We never lose ships, so
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a problem that CIG created. I mean,
yeah,
we don't want to lose our $100 ships.
No, LTI was supposed to only be a thing for the like golden ticket original holders, pretty much. Now look at it.
I mean, I think this is like a really deep conversation, and it could last for hours.
Yeah.
When you go like, how long should you need to how long time should it need to claim a vehicle, and so on. But yeah, it's I know what you mean. I loved games where I could just level a weapon and I got something more, and in the next fight I did better. But I also seen the downsides of these things, and I feel like in Star Citizen has the potential, like boarding another ship. It's an extremely difficult task, and it should be around how competent are the players doing it.
Yeah.
And there are tasks in the game that are really complicated if you do them against other players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of basically the gameplay and what you want to achieve should go in this direction.
Yeah.
But long term, it's yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to see the long term of Star Citizen because they don't communicate it to us, so we don't know. We don't know what Star Citizen is. We're just hoping it's something that we're gonna like. That's basically what it's been for the last 10 years. Because I don't think they know what it is until they have the framework of an MMO inside of it and what it can be. Because you can't know what the game's going to be without knowing what your restrictions are, and at the moment they seem to think that there aren't as many until they actually implement server meshing in the way that they plan to. So it's hard to know. But
that's the thing with 3.17. Yeah, it's like it's a stepping stone.
Yep.
It's nice to see some changes. Yeah, but not yet.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we go? There was somebody who just came in to call, so
I think my biggest points are clear.
yes, and I really liked them, and they were very opposing to how I originally felt, and yeah, you're definitely changing my mind a little bit when it comes to progression through items.
It's great to hear. Really
Yeah.
great to hear.
Yeah, I still want to grind though, so it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, I want to grind too. I also want some. I had thought like 20 minutes about some special items, and I thought like you could get a quantum drive. Like you can't
Yeah.
get pulled out anymore.
Yeah,
With it, but it's not that fast. But I mean, you get some cool benefit from it. You can't get pulled out. So basically, if someone want to rob you, he needs to do it at the station.
Yeah.
And this should be something like a legendary drive or something. It should go more in these directions, kind of. And I mean, if you really think some hours about it, there's so many aspects in the game that an item could change,
yeah.
especially on ships. Yeah, there are ways. I mean, I think.
It's true. There are ways, but yeah, we'll see. But all right, I guess Maxim will let you go. I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was
Anytime.
really nice.
Yeah, I hope to talk to you again soon. You had some really good insight.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
bro.
Maybe
Bye-bye
I'm
now.
next
Go
time
ahead.
here again.
Yeah, I hope so. Bye now, Maxim. Be good.
Yeah, see you.
Bye. All right, our last caller, our actual last caller, is Little Bit of Madness. Can you hear me, dude?
Yeah, I can. What's up, man?
What up?
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Beautiful. Very good. Yeah. It's this has been a very long time in coming. I have waited years to talk to you, and it's kind of like built up over time. And now I'm just like, holy shit, finally here to actually talk to you. It's kind of crazy.
You finally have a topic worth talking about.
Well, no, it's that, and just like because the weekends for me, you know, as a space dad, you know, it's with 2 young kids. It's very difficult sometimes to have a bit of free time. So I had a look at the missus, and I said, okay to go, and she was like, yeah, it's okay to go. You can go. So I was like, okay, cool, sweet. I'll
Nice.
come over and come and chat to you about 317. Just I'll keep it short because I know you're probably quite busy. But for me, 317 is it's all about the rivers and the coffee. You know, that's kind of like the
course.
main focus for me.
Of course. Holy crap. Can I
It's all
jump
about-
in for a second before you go? Somebody took my
for it.
words completely out of context yesterday, and it pisses me off. So I got really mad that Todd Pappy said that the coffee vendor was a junior dev's task. Like it was them getting integrated into the engine. And and I said it was a pleb task, and they thought that I called that person a pleb. But no, it's a entry level. It's a starting task. It's a pleb task. It's a like that. The task is low, not the person. So whoever you are, fuck you. Okay.
You got to
Asshole.
learn, right? Everyone's got to learn at a certain level. In my business
Exactly.
in footwear, people start off doing coloring shoes. That's usually pretty common. You know, you come in, you get the sneakers, and then you color the sneakers, and that's what you do for the first year, pretty much. Is taking
Yeah.
existing shoes. That's all businesses. You take the creative energy from the new people coming in and squeeze tight. You know, because they're all the old people will run out of ideas. That's pretty much what's happened. But yeah, yeah. Now, 370 for me, it's about the it's the rarity of items because I hear you talk about it. And for me, I played Eve for a long time, and I'll always remember, like, I had a really rare spaceship, and I saved up ages, and I grinded for this really rare spaceship, but it was shit in the game. But it looked amazing, and I remember flying it out, and within about 3 seconds, I think, I literally got ganked on and destroyed, like, within a few seconds. And it never left my hangar again, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, I got this amazing thing, but it never left my hangar. And so for me, when it comes to rare items, that's my only real worry. Is like, if it's super rare and super important, people are just going to stick them in a hangar, or they're just going to stick it in anything and invite their friends around. And is that a bad thing? I think it's kind of a waste of talent at times. Don't you think? I think it's a waste of talent.
Yes,
you know, all this designing stuff.
Sure, but at the same time, like that, like when I look back at my experiences with Ultima Online and what I loved about Ultima Online was, I grinded PvE content. I played I did PvP. I did the events, things like that, right? That was fun. But one of the things I enjoyed the most was the slowed down, the calming, the every time I logged in my house, and my house was designed in a way that showed off all my rares, and I got to look at them every single time I logged in, and that was satisfying.
Yeah, but then what did you dress up in when you went out?
Well, in that game, it was very similar to, like, you have the way our ships work is you had insurance, and when you died, it would just take some money out of your account. And there was respect amongst PvPers, unless you were a complete douchebag. If your armor dropped, you would take it and you would give it back, like, to the people that you hated the most. Because of how hard it was to get it, and it just wasn't. Later in the game, that wasn't an aspect of the game anymore. But in the early days of Ultima Online, it was straight full loot, destroy everybody, and who cares?
See, I like mind the idea of collecting shit. Like, if you kill someone who's a high level bounty and you collect his helmet and it's got like his signature tag on it or whatever, and you mount it on your wall like the Predator, I'm like, that's cool as fuck because you're showing off your shit. So by the way, can I swear? I swear quite a lot.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, sorry. I just demonetized your entire thing. I do apologize.
That's not a thing, by the way.
Okay.
It's only if you swear in the first 30 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I have a bit of a potty mouth.
Me too. It's fine.
Yes. So basically, so for me, like, in terms of rarity, like, because from what I understand at the moment, there's going to be, they're taking things out of stores, and then you're going to have to go and get these gear, and it's going to be in special kind of places, and you're going to be wandering around. The pacing of Star Citizen is incredibly slow and challenging, and you can die left, right, and center, and you lose all this rare gear and everything. And I just kind of like, for me personally, I just feel like, are you going to be able to sell this stuff back? Because at the moment, you're not going to be able to sell it. So if I get all this rare gear, I'm not going to make any money on it. And if you do put it into stores and then you sell that, it will diminish the rarity of those items as well, if they do allow that in the future. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like...
Well, what do you mean by rare items? Is it just the items they're taking out of stores, or...?
Yeah, like, it's just like anything from like rare spaceships to rare skins to rare anything, like super like limited edition things that you get.
Like the Vandal mask is more what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Vandal masks, or like not common stuff, like common stuff you can buy from stores relatively easy, but like the things that require you to grind for. Look, I'm pro gear, like special gear. I'm always on the flip side of like, we do have to find a balance where I want to see, if I'm an artist, I think of it very much as an artist side. Like, I've designed all this stuff and it's trapped in a locker somewhere. It just seems like such a waste. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of my take on it. Yeah.
That's why I always mention the idea of like the Terra system as being really interesting. And like, would likely be like I think it's the economic center of the UEE. If not, I don't follow the lore very much, but that could be the place where like there's a good marketplace and the bank where you hang out and everything, and that's where you show off your Vandal mask or your, every MMO has that place where everybody hangs out and just they dress up and look badass there. But is that enough for you? I don't know. That's enough for me personally.
Yeah, but I can't. Yeah. I mean, like, the fashion show, Star Citizen thing. I mean, it's a lot of talented work out there. I see all the cool clothes and everything that they do, and and then all that happens is I just see tons of people running around in white spacesuits at the moment. You know what I mean? It's just like,
well, because nothing matters.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but then how do you, if you make it so that it matters too much, you're just going to hide it in lockers. Do you know what I mean? So I think it'd be interesting to see what their insurance plan is for all of this stuff in the future.
I mean,
that'd be
dude,
kinda
I think
interesting,
we're probably very much in agreement that like purchased and hopefully there's the ability to find like I just look at Star Citizen like this. You buy your stock armor and you could apply paints to it or you know, little attachments or things like that to the armor, and that would be really cool. And when you and you could find those in game as well. And when I say paints, I mean more like a blueprint in a way of like this is the skin blueprint. Like you ever watch The Expanse where the graffiti was actually like this guy taking like the laser and just going across the wall with it. Like I just see that like it that way with our armor. And the blueprint is just the ability to do that to whatever you have on. So the looking cool and feeling cool can be all the time. But the actual useful items are the ones that are worth grinding for.
Yeah. No,
And-
exactly.
And the useful items you take out with you because they're useful. You know, but then
Yes.
certain rares like should be in a museum, right? There's museums. Like there are actual museums in Ultima Online where people just display the rarest items from all the like for me I stopped at year 17 of all the years from year 1 to year 17. People had museums of these items. Like that absolutely that's not the aspect of you saying they're cooped up somewhere, right? They're there to be enjoyed.
I think a big part of it for me is like it would be nice if they told us a bit more about their crafting stuff as well. Like if you find rare shit, if you can make it and sell it and things like that, you know, and kind of add things to the economy, because that's a big part of the game that they've always steered clear of. Really, is getting deep into the crafting stuff to a degree, you know. And it's like it's such a wasted opportunity with Star Citizen for me. Anyway, I just think it's, you know, making stuff, building stuff. It adds to the whole loop.
Exactly. And when Chris Roberts, this is the last we heard about it, was Chris mentioned the possibility of like Valheim style crafting.
You
like,
did, yeah.
Dude, I perked up, dude. I perked up because that's something that is so ingrained in the games that I find myself enjoying.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It will add. I mean, some of the callers have talked about it. I mean, my biggest bugbear, because like in 2019 when I went to CitizenCon and I saw Tony Z. So Tony Z for me was pissing me off for ages. You know, it was like everyone's like sucking him off or something. Sorry, I do apologize. It was like everyone thinking he's the greatest thing, and I'm sat there just going like, what are you talking about? Like I haven't seen this thing appear. You know, it's like I haven't seen this thing happen. And in 2019 we had this massive reveal, and he saw it all, and I was like, holy shit, I believe now. You know what I mean? And that was like what, 3 years ago now, and I'm sat here just kind of like scratching my balls, going, where is it? You know, like come on, Tony, like what's the problem, man? Like can we? Like where is it? Where's Quanta? Where's Odin? Where is this stuff? You know, it's like because it's so desperate and so critical. But then a part of me is like, well, maybe these little pieces have to come in first, I guess. You know, before we can actually get it going. Because
what's the point of having an economy if you can't fucking sell anything to a shop?
No, exactly.
Right?
It's just like it's fine, but it's fluff. And then it comes back to that whole kind of like question of like, what are they making? They're making a game. Are they making a game for like everybody, or are they making a game just for new backers? You know, kind of like the whole finance model is very much kind of like feels like it's geared to that. The whole kind of slapping us on the wrists for being noisy critical people recently. You know, it's that whole kind of like, are they building the game just for new people all the time? And it's like, because it's always shiny, it's amazing. I see people play it, all the new people that come in and play it, like they are so hyped for it, and I'm like, I was the same, and I still am hyped for it, but I just need.
But you can't be bothered to play it.
Well, yeah, I play it like I play every patch, every PDU patch, because I have access as concierge, and I play it, and I enjoy it. You know, I do enjoy it playing it again, and it's always like, oh my god, this is beautiful. You know, but then I'm roaring with laughter when I see all this time. We had like Brian on ATV. We got back a long time. ATV showing us road building. I don't know if anyone remembers. They were on tier 2.0, so it wasn't even the first one of road building back in, God knows when it was on ATV, years and years ago. I think it must have been like 2017 or whatever it was, talking about this thing that was about to be here. And it's now 20 freaking 22, and we're now getting a single river, you know? Now, I know everyone's excited. It's technology, you know, it's going to pave the way. And the environment team have bank with me because, like, they do a phenomenal job. You know what I mean? They have done it. So they've got bank, but like Tony's got zero bank at the moment with me. Like, honestly, it's just waiting for that to come in.
Since that 3 years ago, that first demo, I felt the same way as you. But then over time, I was like, man, I feel like them running their own economy and us not being as integrated into it is going to be very fun. It's just going to feel like you're floating around the universe and you're not really impacting it.
But aren't we kind of impacting it though? Didn't they mention like the stock of the stores will be impacted? Like if we sell lots of common stuff to this store, they'll have over the stocked, and then it's 50% value, you know, or it reduces in value when you got to buy it because
but that's the now. I'm more talking about like the long term when lots of people are playing and how. And then the quantum's fully integrated, and there's thousands of little dots floating around. Like how much will my little dot matter? I wonder. And then when you play other games where it's a completely player-driven economy, every item is made by a player. You feel like you matter all the time then, right? So.
Yeah, definitely.
No, over those 3 years, I've kind of shifted more as I've played more games with player-run economies to where we are now. I don't know, but. We do see Tony's stuff possibly making it into 317, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, I was so disappointed with the CitizenCon when we had that sit down and talk shit again, and I'm sat there going, what the fuck? Like, come on, guys, you know, and then sitting there just, well, you know me, like, I just want to know a bit more behind the scenes. I want to know what their overall kind of like, when they talk about stuff, it's just talk. It's like, you guys you talk too much. It's just like, come on, just show us. You got to start showing us. There's no credibility there. So, but 3.7. But overall, that's like the negative kind of perspective. But on that side, but overall, the last couple of patches are good. I think if you look overall in terms of like gameplay, things are coming in finally. Salvage, refueling. I mean, all those poor Starfarer people have been waiting so long for that. It's I feel kind of happy for the people there. I guess they'll 90% won't realize because they probably don't play the game anymore because they had the Starfarer in their hangar somewhere. But it might get them back, you know.
They won't be able to realize 90% of their dream for that ship yet either because its purpose isn't going to be fully realized.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But anyway, short and sweet, mate. Short and sweet. That's kind of like. I'll leave it here because I'm probably gonna have to bounce. I've got to get a new car. So
nice.
Well,
not nice. Maybe could be for a bad reason, but
no, it's all good. It's just a long wait because of the computer chip shortage. All those fuckers mining cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Slowing us all down on things. Yeah, exactly. All the computer chips in cars now. Thanks very much.
Yep.
12 months. But nah, it's good, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on finally. And
anytime.
All the best with your honeymoon, and have a good one, dude.
Thank you, dude. All right, man.
No,
be good.
Thank you. Take care,
all
buddy.
All the best.
Catch you soon. Yeah, cheers, buddy. Bye.
Right. And I pressed the button. It didn't do anything. That is Answer the Call. Our first Answer the Call. That is a normal one in forever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it today. Man, like content creation for Star Citizen has been difficult over the last couple weeks for me, like really difficult. And this was like the entire time while I was talking to people, I'm getting more and more and more inspired again. And the sad thing is I'm going on vacation for a week. And I think 317 is going to drop to the PTU without me being in a place where there's internet. So that's going to be a bummer. But at the same time, more my wife than me can really use some time, you know, and a little bit of a break from, you know, from reality, or like my wife hasn't been on a vacation in forever. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah. The whole YouTube thing, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Those things really actually do help more than you realize, and leave comments down below. And let me know what you guys think about any of the discussion points that people made, because they were all over the place. This was a really good topic. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, actually. I thought it was going to be kind of a struggle to get people in here and talk about things in a different way and have a different opinion than I did. Because my opinion was basically like, yeah, dude, I'm really excited for 317, but only for the features coming in and being useful later. I'm not really excited to play 317, and a lot of people are pretty hyped, so cool. So thanks for watching again, everybody, and we will see you next week. I don't know what the topic will be until I come back. I think I'll be back on Saturday. I think I come back Friday night, and I'll be back Saturday for stream. So we should have an answer to the call, and if you are looking for content and things to ingest, SaltEMike 2 will have a video every single day that I'm gone. All right, so all those will be available to you, and yeah, so there'll be something to consume, and I'm not going to be gone entirely. So love you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.